about this. I want to share this post that my friend Money or Debt came out with a couple days ago. And I think this is a really interesting post. So let's go back to the actual post. The post is this. He says, this is a graph and a table from the beginning of last year. And he now thinks, with the current data on the power law, that we have a very, very good chance, okay, guys, of hitting hyper-Bitcoinization in 12 years. And so what do we mean by hyper-Bitcoinization? It doesn't really mean the end of fiat, but it means that Bitcoin is pretty much world money everywhere. And, one way to look at that is, will Bitcoin exceed US M2, which is our expanded, the bigger money supply metric, and will it exceed gold? And if you look at this table, and I'm going to go through this table now, let's look at this table, because this is using a 5.82 index, which is kind of where we are now in the power law. And it's also assuming gold growing at 5% and 9%, right? So gold's not going to stay constant over the next 12 years. It's going to grow, and it's actually been growing at about 9%. M2 has been growing at about 7%, so we can just grow those two. And we can look at the gold market cap and the Bitcoin supply and market cap. And we can also look at how many people have some form of Bitcoin. How many people have non-zero addresses, okay? Now, this is growing at a power of 2.85, so just under 3. So we get this sort of very Metcalfe law-y aspect where the ratio of the non-zero addresses to the Bitcoin price is roughly the square, right? So, which is half the power, okay? So let's just take a look at this. And we see, okay, here we are now in 2025, right? And the Bitcoin market cap's about 2 trillion, a little bit higher than the 2 trillion right now. And, in 12 years, we get a 20x of here. We go up to 40 trillion, okay, a little bit more than 50 trillion, so 25x, right? What happens to gold? Well, gold goes from a 16 trillion to about a 45 trillion. So Peter Schiff can still claim, oh, wow, gold did great, it doubled. M2 doubles, okay, and I think this is, it may grow more than double, right? But like right now, M2 is doubling, okay? And the amazing thing is we have now, in this kind of world, we have Bitcoin is now exceeding in 12 years US M2, okay? And it's exceeding gold. So somewhere in this 11 to 12 year period, we are trend line exceeding M2 and both exceeding gold.
Renowned cryptocurrency analyst Fred Krueger challenges the gloomy outlook propagated by notable figures such as Josh Mandel and Arthur Hayes. Krueger speculates on groundbreaking shifts that may soon unfold, potentially redefining the landscape of crypto investments. Let's delve into this captivating revelation that could change the tide for Bitcoin and the broader crypto market. Welcome back to Investocracy Crypto.
We might actually spike there a little bit earlier. Maybe we spike there in 2032, right? So in just 7 years. So somewhere in the 8 to 12 year range, we're going to be very clearly on a path of Bitcoin replacing the dollar in terms of the money giant. So I thought that was a really, really interesting analysis. And here's this visual graph of it, right? We have Bitcoin's the orange, and it's coming, and the green and the yellow are kind of growing at the 7 and 9% range, and then the Bitcoin's just kind of growing initially at around 44%, and then it'll surpass them. So I really thank Stephen Paranode, Money or Debt, for this. If you If you don't follow Stephen, you should follow Money or Debt. It's a great account. Stephen is, we're so fortunate to have him on Twitter. He's a Harvard astrophysicist, a high, Sun Microsystems, high-powered computing expert, and you should absolutely follow this account. So that's my talk. I'm just going to keep it there. I'm not going to talk about the Trump shitcoins or anything. It doesn't matter. Bitcoin's, nothing stops this train. Bitcoin's on a roll. And I think with the idea that we're only a decade away from hyper-Bitcoinization, it really just tells me that you should not be trying to be too smart with this. Don't trade this thing. Don't try to outsmart Bitcoin. Don't short Bitcoin under any circumstance. If you have to sell some Bitcoin for expenses, sell some Bitcoin for expenses. But yeah, I think we're on this amazing train, and I'm all on board for hyperbit.
Fred Krueger has stepped into the spotlight to counter the somber prophecies clouding Bitcoin's future. With a firm belief grounded in both data and strategic foresight, Krueger envisions advantageous changes that could elevate Bitcoin's standing in the investment world. With the first advantage being the notion of a digital asset reserve that is not just a wild fantasy, it is a tangible step towards cementing the trust in cryptocurrencies on a global scale. On the subject of fiscal policy, Krueger's anticipation of tax cuts presents a persuasive angle, potentially lightening the load for crypto investors and paving the way for accelerating adoption.
This is that at the end of the day, free markets solve everything. There are no shortages in free markets. The only time you have a shortage, and Murray Rothbard said this in one of his videos a very long time ago, but he said, the only time you have shortage is when the government imposes a price ceiling. That's when you have shortage. So, if the government says, eggs cannot be sold for more than, 20 cents an egg, and the free market price is 40 cents an egg, there will be no eggs on the shelf. And that's one of the only things that really economics teaches us is that, you can't arbitrarily put price caps on things. It just does not work. So, I think that the best way to deal with all these coins and everything else is to let the market decide. And, there will be shit coins. There will be scams. There will be rug pulls. And at the end of the day, if people buy coins that and get into trouble, that's not for the state to decide that you shouldn't be buying these coins, you should be buying these coins. We don't want to have, we don't want to have the likes of Sam Bankman-Fried kind of get a pass to sell FTT. But, if you want to buy Bitcoin in the state of New York, well, you can't because of this bit license stuff.
Fred Krueger's encapsulation of the current financial sentiment is further endorsed by strategic maneuvers from MicroStrategy and BlackRock. MicroStrategy's incessant Bitcoin purchases aren't just a tactical play. They signal robust institutional confidence. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Stuff. So at the end of the day, my preference is for complete freedom. My preference is that all of these coins be completely available to buy and sell without any kind of registration statement or anything like that. I just don't think that stuff makes any sense in this world of digital cryptocurrencies that we're in right now. So it's just not enforceable. It's not policeable. We just saw what a nightmare 4 years of Gary Gensler was with his enforcement action. He didn't solve any problems, and I really think, as much as some of these things are preposterous, right? And I would not buy Liberty Financial. I have no interest in it. But if you do, that's fine. Go ahead, do it, buy it. I don't care. It's your money, and that's the fundamental American thing about this country. Is as long as it's not hurting other people, I don't.
While skeptics may still chant the old-school rhymes of reluctance, there's a palpable change in the narrative, with growth forecasts pointing towards a bullish horizon. So, where do you stand on this evolving Bitcoin narrative? Share your thoughts. And finally, if you would like to know more about cryptocurrencies or specifically Bitcoin, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.